Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to the podcast and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I am drinking water. A
I love your
huge,
cup.
huge, isn't it cute? It's just a Starbucks
I think
mug.
Lily's got that cup in a different color.
I like it.
Uh-huh.
And if you're trying to drink more water, find a vessel that you like. So
Correct. That's
there's
nice
that.
and big.
Yeah. What are you
Well,
drinking?
Paul is making me some crab. And so I felt like I needed some white wine to go with it. And I thought, well, I can have a little bit while I chat with Sandra. So I opened up some Seven Creeks Vermentino,
Yum.
because it's like 172 degrees out there.
Is it really?
No, it's
I'm
not really.
wearing a sweater up here in Canada.
It is, it is warm. White wine on a warm day. Now,
Hmm.
we will probably not be sitting out on the patio having our crab salad, but it's still hot. So,
Yum.
white wine it is. We had a date night earlier this week, and we had planned it out ahead to where he was like, let's go out tomorrow night. Where do you normally it's like, okay, it's date night tonight kind of thing.
Hmm.
And he asked where I wanted to go. And I said, you know what we need to do is go to Whitestone Brewery because they just have opened up this new location and we hadn't been. So they partnered with our favorite little pizza place in Georgetown. So they're operating out of that same space now. So I was like, oh, we can go get a glass of wine because we don't drink beer and get a pizza and some salad. And I was so excited. And I like to support these guys because they're big supporters of our community and people. And anyway, so we get there, it's packed, which I thought, yay for them.
Yeah.
But damn, I don't like to wait. And we noticed two seats were open at the bar and we were meeting another couple, but they weren't going to be there for a bit. So all of a sudden we had ordered some wine and Paul goes, there's a table that just opened up. Why don't you go grab it and I'll grab our wine? So I sat down and we're just in this appreciating mode. Like we're appreciating the crowd and how awesome this must be for them and to see them thriving in this new location. And it was sort of that kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And the night before, I had reached out to my friend Tony, who is the guy that asked me the question at the bank a year ago, that happy hour at the bank, that after hours
Mm-hmm.
thing, that said, do you do NLP?
Right.
And I finally reached out to him because I haven't seen him at one event. And I just wanted to say, thank you, dude. You changed my life. And so I had texted him and he told me he was going to call me back. Well, he happened to call me back when I'm sitting there waiting. I guess our friends had just gotten there, but we're in that mode of just gratitude and appreciation. And poof, there's Tony calling. So I'm like, excuse me, I've got to take this call. So I took my phone and I went outside and talked to him. I don't think he remembered who the hell I was. And it doesn't matter, but I wanted him to know what he did and what impact it had on me. So to keep doing things like that. And
Right.
he was telling me about him and his wife and their business and the cool things that they're doing and sent me all of his, I guess, handles for social
Okay.
media. Is that what you call them?
I don't know. That's not what I call them, but the cool
Okay,
kids.
maybe.
Yeah.
But so it was just this great conversation. And I hope that I run into him and his wife sometime again, because I think they're the kind of people that we could sit and just talk and get in the
Mm,
vortex with.
yeah.
But I go back inside and I sit down and I look up and there's a new couple that's sitting across, and one of them is directly in my sight. And I'm like, oh, she looks familiar. And I knew who she was instantly, but my mind was trying to talk me out of it because I haven't seen this woman in 22 years. And it was a woman that I met from a networking group who is a lesbian woman. And you can, I mean, you can meet her and know she's lesbian. But she didn't talk about being lesbian. And she would come to our social events and she would say, "Can I bring my roommate?" And she would bring Kim, her roommate. And
Mhm.
all of us that are on the board love her. Like, we all absolutely adore this woman. Her name is Teresa. And we knew she was lesbian, but she wasn't being open with us. And we're like, if she's bringing her wife or her girlfriend, I mean, they lived together. I guess in those days there was no marriage,
Yeah.
but we need to honor that. She doesn't need to hide around us because she's afraid, because we're safe. Although she was the very first person that I was ever close to that was gay.
Okay.
But after I met her, it seemed so normal because, like, of course she's gay, and doesn't she deserve to be in love? It was that
Mhm.
kind of, because I wasn't raised that way. I mean, they were going to hell. for,
Right. Right.
but I could not see God damning this woman to hell because he made her that, it was that kind of a thing in my mind. But so
Yeah.
we finally cornered her and we're like, "Look, we don't care, but if that's your girlfriend, she can be your girlfriend here." And she's like, "Okay, but you can't tell anybody because she's a teacher and she will lose her job,"
Wow.
which I know. I know. And so we didn't. And then the group kind of dissolved at some point. We all sort of started doing other things, and I lost track of her, but I've always thought about her and the impact that she made on me and what I taught my kids and how I raised my kids and how I interacted with other gay people that I met along my path. And she's sitting across from me, and my inner being knows that's her, but I'm trying to talk myself out of it because it's been 22 years. She looks the
Right.
same, but my memory's foggy.
That happens to
It
us.
does. I mean, and she looks older, and I don't think she looked at me and said, "Oh, there's Leigh," but I could
Right.
not remember her name. I remembered her wife's name or her girlfriend's name, Kim, but I couldn't remember hers. And she does not look like a Teresa because Teresa kept popping up in my head. And I was like, "She doesn't look like a Teresa." Well, finally, my inner being, I guess, yanks me by the ear and drags me to the table because I thought, I'm going to ask her because either it's her and I'm going to get to tell her thank you,
Mhm.
or it's not going to be her and I'm going to make a new friend.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
it was her. And it was the sweetest moment because I told her what my name was and I said, "What is your name?" And she said, "Teresa." And I was like, "Is that Kim?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "It is you."
Oh
And
gosh.
we hugged and caught up and, just chatted about life. And they're retired now and doing fun stuff. But I got to tell her thank you. And it was one of those moments of being in that gratitude vortex that just kept, just going on and on and on. And I could feel it. Even once we finished our conversation, I was in that gratitude mode. I had the best night ever. Great conversation with our friends, great conversation on the way home. Got home, played some pool, more great conversation. And it was like, see what you did here? You focused on gratitude, on how you wanted to feel. And it's just been all night, over and over. Nothing bothered you. We ordered a pizza. It was good. I wouldn't order it again. But it wasn't like we had leftovers, and it wasn't something I was like, "Oh, I gotta eat these
That was,
leftovers."
yeah,
Like,
let's
the
pack.
leftovers ended up in the trash, but I wasn't upset about the pizza. I was like, "It's different flavors." Like, ah,
Yeah.
I'm experiencing something new. And there was just nothing that was an issue because I was caring about feeling good. And it was such a moment for me of focus on what you want and more
Mhm.
show or whatever you're focused on is gonna multiply and get bigger.
I keep thinking about the movie The Secret,
Mhm.
where the example is you get up in the morning and you stub your toe and then everything goes to shit from there.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that we forget is that sometimes we can wake up in the morning and not stub our toe and have something wonderful happen, and or just even start in recognizing gratitude, and then it propels forward as well.
Mhm.
So it can go to the negative or to the positive.
Oh, so easily.
And
And
that's what it feels like one positive thing, one amazing thing led to another moment of gratitude and another moment of gratitude and
yeah,
another moment of gratitude.
yeah, yeah. And you can get to the point where you stub your toe when you get out of bed and you say, fuck. And then
Yeah.
then you have the option to
Hmm.
go, well, this day is going to suck.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I don't want to go down this road today. What do I want?
Right.
And we can shift it in any moment.
Well, and what's interesting is as you say that, those two people, Tony and Teresa, shifted everything for you in one sentence, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Tony in one sentence, in one question, and Teresa in,
Just
I
by
guess,
being authentic,
yes.
just by showing up as her
And I
and
think
letting us see her.
we think that to shift who we are takes an act of God and a ton of work.
Yes. And we've
And
got
it
to make it happen.
we're going to make it happen, but it doesn't have to work like that. Like it can be just, accepting of one moment,
Yeah.
like just one decision, one moment, one decision, one idea, and
One conversation.
one step. Yeah.
Mhm. When I'm efforting and I'm trying, okay, I'm going to make all this work just this way. And I start down this road of trying to push it. Nothing happens except
Mhm.
I get frustrated. But when I'm just I'm feeling good. I'm in a place where I'm feeling good. And then I get an impulse to do something that might seem insignificant in my day. Magic happens.
Yeah.
And I always laugh because I can tell when I'm efforting because
Mhm.
I'm planning what am I going to do and how is this going to work? And
Yeah.
instead of letting the magic just unfold, because that's where the fun is.
I have spent a lot of time trying to make things happen
Yeah.
and overthinking. I think type A, maybe firstborn, I don't know, but I think this overthinking, overanalyzing, and I'm not afraid to take risks at all, but I want to make sure it's the right risk. And
Uh-huh.
so I have spent a lot of time in this stuck energy of over processing things.
You
And
have got to watch Inside Out too. We'll talk about that in a minute. Carry on.
oh, okay. I have not seen Inside Out
Oh
1,
my
but
gosh.
what's interesting is that a lot of times it's really just that release, that surrender, that moment of surrender that helps me. I know this morning I have gotten back to journaling because I have spent a lot of time journaling and journaling through traumas, like little t traumas, I would call them.
Yeah.
But I'm journaling through stuff that I want to release and journaling through behaviors and thoughts that I want to let go of and just old shitty stuff, and makes me feel better. I love those practices. But just in the last weekend, I thought, shit, I gotta dream a little. Like I am at
Mm.
this place now where I kind of am done with all of the digging at my stuff, you know,
Yeah, girl,
for,
you don't need to dig.
for
You don't
now.
need to
Anyway,
dig because it
yeah,
naturally,
it naturally releases.
yeah.
Um, And so I just thought, man, like I need to dream a little more. I need to like think on, or not think, but like just journal and visualize on what it is that I want. And so today I sat down, grabbed my journal again. I have not been journaling too much in the last little bit. So I grabbed my journal again and I wrote out an affirmation. Now, this is significant because I don't do affirmations.
Oh,
They're just, I love when other people do them, but it's never anything that I've kind of done myself. And I read this book on Fuck Yourself.
uh-huh.
And one of the quotes in there, and I've said this a ton of times, one of the quotes in there is something like, affirmations, if you're looking for affirmations, it's not in this fucking book. A lot of people will say, I'm a lion, I'm a lion, I'm a lion, but at the end of the day, you're not a fucking lion.
I could
And
not get through that book.
well, I don't get through any book
Yeah,
unless it's now
he
on
was
my Kindle app.
he was so offensive to me.
Really? Well,
And I say fuck a lot.
yeah, I've only read a little bit of it,
Yeah,
so I can tell you.
yeah.
But I thought, oh yeah, okay, I'm not a fucking lion. Oh, maybe that's the problem with my affirmations. I didn't believe them. Like they weren't something that I could believe.
Well, and it's your subconscious mind that didn't believe it, so it was rejecting it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and
with
I
that, it's
knew it.
repetition. And the more you hear it, the more
Yeah,
you will believe it. But
right.
it's got to be, because in the beginning you're going, you're a liar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really have this integrity thing to a science in my body. Like I'm telling you, if it feels like a lie, it is a straight off no. But what was interesting was today I picked up my journal and I just love to automatic write, like,
Mhm.
whatever comes out of my pen.
Yeah.
And I know this was not me because I wrote out an affirmation. First sentence said, I release control, I surrender, and I allow the universe to assist me. Where the hell did that come from? I mean, above, I guess. The universe dropped it in because it was not my thoughts. I'm telling you, it was not my conscious mind. I doubt it was my subconscious mind either because I resist affirmations. I have never written one like on my own. I have recopied someone's affirmations, trying
Yeah.
to, make it mine or trying to like imprint it into my being. But no,
Yeah.
the fact that I wrote it out and I fucking loved it so much. I mean, to the core of who I am, it resonated with me.
You need
And
to
I thought,
repeat that to yourself multiple times a day.
how powerful, right?
Yeah. That's huge.
I just like it just felt like the most powerful thing I've ever said to myself.
And I think it is
Hmm.
because that control keeps us stuck. Because when we're trying to control it all, we
Hmm.
aren't listening. When
Yeah,
God's like, "Psst, hey,
yeah,
you might
yeah,
think about this.
exactly.
It's not on my list. I don't have
Exactly.
time for that today."
I'm trying to
All that.
make this happen.
Yes.
I'm trying to make this happen. So I don't need that. But very much so. Like it was just, I could feel it. It was the most,
You know, your inner being was jumping up and down, going, she finally heard us.
what a dumbass is taking her so long.
No, it's not that. You just couldn't hear it.
Mhm.
It's like the baby walking. As they're
Yeah.
learning to walk, they stand up, they take a step, they fall on their face. Then they sit down for a while and go, I'm not trying that again for a minute. No
Yeah.
one's yelling at them, hey, you little dummy, just get up and walk. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
They're cheering and clapping, and same for us. But
I,
we are mean to ourselves.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
It was amazing because I felt that release.
Mm,
I felt that release of control. I felt that surrender. I felt like, okay, I'm open. Let's see what happens.
yeah.
And what happened was then I had a woman reached out to talk to me about coaching, which was cool. So I talked to her, talked to my naturopath, and everything just sort of is leading me in a different direction than I was this morning before I wrote that affirmation. So
Mhm.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
I
Where's
know.
this going? Because things are shifting now, right? You have a
Yeah,
different awareness that you didn't have 24 hours ago.
right.
We can build on
So
that.
wild. She was talking about just tapping. And what was interesting was the information that she gave me just felt so much in line
Hmm.
with everything that happened today. It fell in line with my affirmation. It fell in line with my client call. It fell in line with like everything just feels like it's all aligned
Yeah.
all together. You know, sometimes like you can have like alignment in your business, but then maybe I don't know, something else isn't going that great, like a friendship isn't going that great. But it just feels like from today, everything is aligned to that one affirmation.
Oh.
How powerful. I am a fucking lion. Like,
See?
right. I
So
know.
we took the kiddos, the babies, to see Inside Out 2.
Okay.
Oh my God. Sandra, telling you, I left the movie theater and we got home and I told the girls, I said, let's look on Disney Plus and see if I will buy it again. I just need to watch it again because
Wow.
it was so good. So you can watch Inside Out 1. It's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
2's not out yet, but it should be out here shortly, I would think.
And two is better than one.
Well, they're just different. So one
Okay.
is great because it's the basic understanding of our emotions and joy and anger and frustration and all the emotions that toddlers and young children have. P.S. We have them too.
Yeah.
So,
We all have an inner toddler.
yes. So then, yes, for sure. So then Riley, the main character, she's starting puberty. And they don't really discuss that, except that there's a mark on the computer in her brain that says puberty. And they're having all this reconstruction. They're like, what is going on in here? Because they're tearing everything up and redoing everything. And well, then guess who shows up but anxiety?
Mm.
And I don't want to ruin it, but anxiety sends like the childhood emotions in a jar to be sent away because they're useless now. And anxiety decides to take over and is ruling everything.
Oh,
And so the other emotions, joy, is the one really fighting to get back because she wants to murder anxiety. Not really,
right.
but
Yeah,
she
yeah,
wants anxiety gone.
yeah.
But in the end, she realizes that, like, we need all of our emotions. Our anxiety is going to say, that might be dangerous.
Hmm.
Let's look at this for a moment. But what happens is we stay in anxiety and then we're ruled from that fear of fucking everything
Yeah.
instead of having the balance. And in the end, Joy said, anxiety doesn't get to tell Riley who she is. I think
Mm,
that's her words. That's why I want to watch it again because this time I'm taking notes.
yeah.
It is so applicable to every person on the planet. It
Wow.
doesn't matter if, like, my 5-year-old granddaughter loved it, my 4-year-old grandson loved it, the
Aw.
girls loved it, Paul loved it. We were all crying at the end.
Oh my gosh.
It is a fantastic movie, and it's going to teach those kids to be aware. And it was interesting because Maria fell asleep on the way home. So when she woke up, when we got her out of the car, guess who was a bear? Maria was a bear. And so she is doing her little fussy thing that she does. And I said, "Oh, is that anger?" And she yelled at me some more. And Mona starts laughing and said, "Oh, yeah, that's anger." And then I start laughing, and Paul starts laughing, and Lily and Mona, everybody's laughing. And she tries to grunt a few more times, and then she busts out laughing.
Aw.
But it's one of those things where it makes you aware of what you're feeling, going, "Do I want to feel this right now? Is this justified? Do I
Yeah.
need to be anxious? Do I need to be controlling? Do I need to be fearful? Or are
Mhm.
these just emotions that I'm used to grabbing onto and running with
Yeah.
and making a conscious choice?" And to think that these kids are going to have this kind of information
Right?
about their brains and their emotions.
In such a visceral, visual translation of it,
Yes. Yes.
because it is so much easier to filter through and to like embody that information when it's so visual like that.
Oh yeah. And it's going to be in them. And I know I have started telling stories to Easton. Like, I read him books. We love to
Mhm.
read books together. But what he really loves is when I just make up a story, like bedtime. He'll be like, "Julie, tell me a story." And
Aw.
or if he was having an asthma attack one day, and I was trying to get him to his inhaler, and Lily had left. I don't know if she left the bag with his inhaler, but it wasn't with us. We'd gone to a football game, and we were on our way home, and we were racing to the truck because it was cold. Well, that's not a smart thing to do with a kid with asthma when
Right.
it's cold outside. You don't go running. Bad Julie. So we get in the truck and we're coming home, and all of a sudden he's like, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." So I just start talking to him because I mean, we're around the corner from the house. And I
Okay.
start talking to him, and I'm like, "Easton, there's a butterfly right in front of you. What color is it?" And so we just start talking about this butterfly and what color he was and where he lived and where he went to school and what he did
Aw.
all day and his parents, and just distraction and just getting him to play. And then it turns into storytelling. So he'll just, "I need a story, Julie." And so I always try to give him a story that's going to make him think. And I've got this book for metaphors for kids. And so anytime that I'm stuck, I'll open up this book and I'll kind of go through to get a topic, and then build a story around that. And sometimes, most of the time, I don't know where the hell it's going or where it's going to end, but we have the best time just storytelling. And what it's done is it's made him stop and go, "Julie, I want to tell you a story." And he
Oh,
tells me
cute.
wild stories, crazy. And I will tell you, we're at the phase where they a lot of times involve poop. But he's 4 and he's a boy. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we were out of town this weekend, and he started going with his imagination, just going on and on. And someone said to him, "You watch too much TV." And Lily was like, "Yeah, that's not from TV."
Oh, good for her.
But they don't know, and they couldn't understand. But I
Yeah.
know. And we all need to have our imaginations like that, be that vivid, and be able to play
Mhm.
and storytell about the shit we want, the
Yeah.
stuff we want, not the shit we don't.
Yeah.
Because when we're telling that worst case scenario, the doomsday, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, this could be happening." We are storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we're going to make a story up, shouldn't it be something fun?
Well, and like we have that negativity bias, so it's intentional. we have to intentionally, we have to know that our default is negative, our
Yeah.
default is the fear, our default, and so we have to actively press towards faith. We have to press towards visualizing something that we want. We have to
Yeah.
journal. We have to press to journal on what we want. Like, it just doesn't come natural.
Well, and that's why when you say I'm a lion, your subconscious mind is going, bullshit. No, you're
Yeah.
not. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
And it does that when I see people that are beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful people, women in particular, stunning,
Yeah.
that can't look at themselves and see and tell themselves you're beautiful because they're like, no, you're not. No, you're
Yeah.
not. You're overweight or you're fat or no, you're not. You cannot be beautiful until
Right.
instead of seeing the beauty in who they are right now. It's awful.
Yeah.
But once we say it enough and we repeat it enough and it starts to become familiar enough, then we're like, oh, yeah, I am.
I'm a lion.
I am a fucking lion. Who knew?
I'm a lion.
But on that note, we're out of time.
We are out of time. This
This
was
was
super fun.
good and
Mhm.
super quick.
Yeah.
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 Oh, thank you, Sandra.
The
Thank you so
vortex.
much. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.